In the quiet town of Willow Creek, nestled amongst rolling hills and babbling brooks, lived old man Fitzwilliam. He was a familiar sight to the townsfolk, often seen tending to his sprawling garden. It wasn't just any garden. It was a vibrant tapestry of colorful flowers, juicy vegetables, and fragrant herbs. Fitzwilliam lived a simple life. His days were filled with the quiet joy of nurturing his plants, reading his well-worn books, and the occasional visit from a friendly neighbor. He was known for his gentle nature and the abundance of his garden, always willing to share its bounty with those in need. Little did he know, his peaceful existence was about to be touched by a waif of a girl with eyes like a scared fawn. This encounter would change both their lives forever, starting with a simple act, digging for scraps behind his fence. Willow Creek was the kind of place where everyone knew your name, and secrets were as rare as a blue rose. The houses were painted in cheerful colors, each with a porch swing swaying gently in the breeze. Children played hopscotch on the sidewalks, and the smell of freshly baked bread wafted from Mrs. Gable's bakery every morning. Life moved at a slower pace here. The biggest excitement was usually the annual pie-eating contest at the town fair. It was a place where neighbors helped neighbors, and a sense of community bound everyone together. This close-knit atmosphere also meant that unusual events, like a child scavenging for food, didn't go unnoticed for long. The peaceful rhythm of Willow Creek was about to be disrupted. It started on a Tuesday. Fitzwilliam, humming a tuneless melody, was pruning his rose bushes when he noticed something out of the corner of his eye. A slight movement near the back of his property, where the fence separated his garden from the overgrown woods. He peered through the leaves and saw her, a young girl, no older than 8, her clothes too big and dusty. She was digging with a small, worn spoon near the base of the fence, carefully sifting through the dirt and fallen leaves. Fitzwilliam watched, his brow furrowed with concern. He recognized the desperation in her movements, the way she quickly scanned her surroundings as if afraid of being caught. He knew with a sinking feeling that she wasn't playing. She was looking for food. The girl's name was Maya. She lived with her aunt and uncle, distant relatives who hadn't wanted her when her parents passed away. They saw her as a burden, an extra mouth to feed. The house was cramped and unwelcoming, with little warmth or affection. Maya often went to bed hungry, the growling of her stomach her only lullaby. School lunches were a distant memory. She was lucky if she got a stale piece of bread in the morning. That's why she'd started sneaking out, hoping to find something, anything, to ease the constant ache in her belly. She knew it was wrong, but the hunger was a powerful force, driving her to take risks she wouldn't normally consider. She just wanted to feel full, just once. For the next 2 days, Fitzwilliam kept a watchful eye. He saw Maya return each afternoon, her small frame growing thinner, her hope dwindling with each unsuccessful search. He noticed the way she flinched at every sound, the constant fear in her eyes. He longed to approach her, to offer her help, but he hesitated. He didn't want to scare her away. He knew that children like Maya, children who had known little kindness, were often wary of strangers. So, he observed, his heart aching with each passing moment, trying to figure out the best way to reach out without causing her more distress. He knew he couldn't stand by and watch her starve. He had to do something. On the 3rd day, Fitzwilliam made his decision. He carefully picked a selection of ripe tomatoes, plump cucumbers, and sweet strawberries from his garden. He arranged them artfully on a clean white plate, adding a slice of freshly baked bread slathered with butter. Carrying the plate, he walked slowly towards the back fence, his heart pounding in his chest. He took a deep breath and called out in a gentle voice, "Hello there, little one." He made sure his voice was soft and non-threatening, hoping not to frighten her. He approached slowly, giving her plenty of time to see him and react. He held out the plate, offering it as a peace offering. Maya froze, her eyes widening with alarm. She scrambled back against the fence, her small body trembling. She looked at Fitzwilliam with a mixture of fear and suspicion. He was a stranger, and she'd learned not to trust strangers. But the aroma of the food was overwhelming, a tempting invitation to her empty stomach. She hesitated, her gaze darting between Fitzwilliam's kind face and the colorful offering. Finally, her hunger won. Slowly, cautiously, she reached out a tentative hand and took a strawberry. She popped it into her mouth, her eyes closing as the sweet juice exploded on her tongue. It was the most delicious thing she had tasted in a long, long time. Fitzwilliam watched her eat, his heart swelling with compassion. He waited patiently until she had finished the strawberry, her eyes now fixed on the rest of the food. "There's more where that came from, little one," he said softly. "Are you hungry?" Maya nodded shyly, unable to meet his gaze. He pushed the plate closer to the fence. "Help yourself," he said. "It's all fresh from the garden." As Maya devoured the remaining food, Fitzwilliam knew he couldn't just offer her a single meal. He had to do something more, something that would provide her with lasting help. He took a deep breath and asked the question that had been forming in his mind since he first saw her digging near the fence. "Do you want to stay?" Maya's eyes widened in disbelief. The question hung in the air between them, heavy with unspoken possibilities. Stay? What did he mean? Stay where? With him? She had never considered such a thing. People didn't just offer kindness without expecting something in return. Her aunt and uncle certainly didn't. They made it clear every day that she was a burden, an unwanted guest in their home. Why would this kind old man, a complete stranger, want her to stay? Suspicion clouded her features. Was this a trick? Was he going to hurt her? She instinctively recoiled, her hand clutching the edge of the fence, ready to flee at a moment's notice. She stared at him, searching his eyes for any sign of deception. Fitzwilliam understood her hesitation. He knew he had to tread carefully. "I just want to help you, Maya," he said, using her name to show he knew who she was and that he'd been paying attention. "I've seen you digging around, and I know you must be hungry. You can help me in the garden if you like. It's hard work, but I'd be happy to share my food with you, and you'd have a safe place to rest." He paused, letting his words sink in. "You don't have to decide right now," he added gently. "But if you want to stay, just know that you'd be welcome here." He hoped his simple offer would be enough to convince her that he meant no harm. After a long silence, Maya spoke, her voice barely a whisper. Just for one day?" she asked, her eyes still fixed on the ground. She wasn't sure she could trust him, but the thought of a warm meal and a safe place, even for just one day, was too tempting to resist. It was a small step, a cautious test to see if Fitzwilliam was truly as kind as he seemed. If he was, maybe, just maybe, she could consider staying longer. But for now, one day was all she could commit to, all she dared to hope for. She held her breath, waiting for his response, afraid that he would change his mind, that this fleeting offer of kindness would vanish as quickly as it had appeared. "One day it is," Fitzwilliam replied, his voice filled with warmth. He could see the fear still lurking in her eyes, but he also saw a flicker of hope. He knew it would take time for her to trust him completely. He opened the gate in the fence, inviting her to enter his garden. Maya hesitated for a moment, then cautiously stepped through. She kept her head down, avoiding eye contact, her small hand clutching the strap of her worn-out backpack. Fitzwilliam smiled gently, understanding her apprehension. He wouldn't push her. He would let her explore at her own pace, allowing her to discover, in her own time, that his kindness was genuine, that she was finally safe. The garden, with its vibrant colors and fragrant blooms, seemed to hold its breath, waiting to witness the beginning of their unlikely friendship. The first few hours were a delicate dance. Maya remained reserved, her movements stiff and hesitant. She stayed close to Fitzwilliam, watching his every move. She flinched whenever he raised his voice, even when he was just talking to the birds. Fitzwilliam, on the other hand, was a beacon of patience. He spoke softly, explaining each task carefully. He showed her how to weed, how to water, and how to harvest the vegetables. He never demanded, never pressured, always offering gentle encouragement. He made sure she had plenty of water and sat her down for regular breaks. He understood that trust wasn't built in a day, and he was willing to wait, to earn her confidence, one small act of kindness at a time. He was determined to show her that not all adults were unkind. As the day wore on, something remarkable began to happen. Maya, hesitant at first, started to show a surprising aptitude for gardening. She seemed to instinctively know which weeds to pull, which plants needed more water, and which ones were ready to be harvested. She handled the plants with a gentle touch, as if she could feel their needs. Fitzwilliam watched in amazement as she carefully tended to the delicate seedlings, her brow furrowed in concentration. It was as if she had a secret connection to the earth, a natural gift for nurturing life. He realized that beneath her shy exterior lay a hidden talent, a potential waiting to be unlocked. Maybe, just maybe, he wasn't just helping her. Maybe she was helping him too. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the garden, Maya started to relax. The warmth of the sun, the satisfaction of hard work, and the full feeling in her belly seemed to melt away some of her fear. She started to talk, hesitantly at first, sharing small details about her life. She mentioned her favorite color was blue, like the sky on a clear day. She talked about a stray kitten she used to care for before her relatives found out and chased it away. She even smiled once or twice, a fleeting glimpse of the happy child she once was. Fitzwilliam listened patiently, offering gentle words of encouragement, careful not to pry too much. He knew that with each shared detail, she was slowly building a bridge of trust between them. Later that evening, as they shared a simple supper of vegetable soup and bread, Maya revealed more about her situation. She told Fitzwilliam that her parents had died a few years ago and that she was now living with her aunt and uncle, who were her mother's distant relatives. She didn't go into detail, but Fitzwilliam could sense the unhappiness in her voice, the unspoken pain behind her words. He learned that they weren't particularly kind to her and that she often felt like she was in the way. It was clear that she wasn't receiving the love and care that a child deserved. His heart ached for her, and his resolve to help her only strengthened. He knew he couldn't let her go back to that life. The next morning, Fitzwilliam made a conscious effort to share his passion for gardening with Maya. He showed her how to identify different types of plants, explaining their unique needs and characteristics. He taught her about the importance of sunlight, water, and healthy soil. He shared stories about the various creatures that inhabited the garden, the busy bees, the colorful butterflies, and the industrious earthworms. He spoke with such enthusiasm and love for nature that Maya couldn't help but be captivated. She listened intently, asking questions and absorbing every detail. She realized that gardening wasn't just about hard work. It was about connecting with something bigger than herself, about nurturing life and finding beauty in the simplest of things. The garden became their classroom, and Fitzwilliam, her patient and knowledgeable teacher. As the days turned into weeks, a remarkable transformation took place in Maya. The fear in her eyes began to fade, replaced by a spark of curiosity and joy. She started to laugh, a light, tinkling sound that filled the garden with music. She smiled more often, revealing a gap-toothed grin that warmed Fitzwilliam's heart. She began to express her own opinions and ideas, no longer afraid to speak her mind. The garden had become her sanctuary, a place where she could be herself, where she felt safe and loved. Fitzwilliam had given her more than just food and shelter. He had given her the freedom to rediscover her true personality, the vibrant, happy child that had been hidden beneath layers of fear and sadness. He was witnessing her blossom, like one of his prize-winning roses. However, the peace in their little world was soon to be disturbed. Mrs. Higgins, a particularly nosy neighbor with a penchant for gossip, had noticed Maya working in Fitzwilliam's garden. She saw the girl's thin frame and her threadbare clothes, and her mind immediately jumped to conclusions. She began to whisper to other neighbors, expressing her concerns about an elderly man taking in a young girl without proper supervision. "It's not right," she'd say, shaking her head disapprovingly. "He's too old to be caring for a child. Who knows what's really going on over there?" Her words spread like wildfire through Willow Creek, fueling suspicion and doubt. Soon, people started to cast disapproving glances at Fitzwilliam, and whispers followed him wherever he went. The once welcoming atmosphere of the town began to feel cold and judgmental. Fitzwilliam couldn't ignore the change in the town's attitude. He heard the whispers, saw the sidelong glances, and felt the coldness in what were once friendly greetings. Some neighbors even confronted him directly, voicing their concerns about Maya's well-being and questioning his intentions. But Fitzwilliam stood his ground. He patiently explained his situation, emphasizing that he was simply trying to help a child in need. He defended Maya, praising her hard work and her kind heart. He refused to let the gossip and judgment deter him from doing what he believed was right. He knew in his heart that he was providing Maya with a safe and loving environment, and that was all that mattered. He would not apologize for his kindness. One afternoon, while weeding near the fence, Maya overheard Mrs. Higgins and another neighbor whispering about her. They spoke of Fitzwilliam as if he were doing something wrong, as if she were a burden he couldn't handle. They questioned his motives and expressed concerns about her safety. Maya's heart sank. She realized that her presence was causing trouble for Fitzwilliam, that she was disrupting his peaceful life and subjecting him to judgment and scrutiny. Guilt washed over her. She had finally found a place where she felt safe and loved, but now she was ruining it for him. She couldn't bear the thought of being a burden, of causing him any more pain. She decided that she had to leave. It was the only way to protect him. Early the next morning, before Fitzwilliam awoke, Maya packed her few belongings into her worn-out backpack. She left a simple note on the kitchen table, thanking him for his kindness and explaining that she was leaving because she didn't want to cause him any more trouble. She slipped out the back door, her heart heavy with sadness. She didn't know where she would go, but she knew she couldn't stay. She walked towards the woods, the same woods where she had once searched for scraps of food, the same woods that now felt like a refuge from the judgmental eyes of Willow Creek. She hoped that Fitzwilliam would understand, that he would forgive her for leaving, that he would find peace once she was gone. When Fitzwilliam awoke and found Maya gone, his heart shattered into a million pieces. He saw the note on the table, her simple words a painful reminder of her selflessness and his failure to protect her from the town's judgment. He felt a wave of despair wash over him, a sense of loss so profound that it left him breathless. The garden, once filled with her laughter and joy, now felt empty and silent. He had grown to love her like a granddaughter, and now she was gone, vanished back into the shadows from which he had rescued her. He knew he couldn't let her go without a fight. He had to find her, to convince her that she belonged with him, that their little family was worth fighting for. Fitzwilliam immediately set out to find Maya. He walked through Willow Creek, asking neighbors if they had seen her. Some were sympathetic, offering words of encouragement. Others were cold and dismissive, confirming his fears that the gossip had poisoned their hearts. He swallowed his pride and even asked Mrs. Higgins, who merely shrugged and said, "I told you it wouldn't work out." Undeterred, Fitzwilliam continued his search, his determination fueled by his love for Maya and his guilt over failing to protect her. He knew she had likely headed towards the woods, the only place she knew outside of his garden. He ventured into the trees, calling her name, his voice hoarse with worry. "Maya! Maya! Where are you?" Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he heard a faint sob. He followed the sound, pushing through the undergrowth until he came to a small clearing. There, huddled beneath the branches of a large oak tree, was Maya. She was curled up in a ball, her face buried in her knees, her small body shaking with tears. She looked even smaller and more vulnerable than he remembered. His heart ached at the sight of her. He knelt down beside her, his voice gentle. "Maya," he said softly. "It's okay. I'm here." She didn't respond, her sobs continuing unabated. He reached out a hand and gently touched her shoulder. She flinched, then slowly looked up at him, her eyes filled with fear and despair. She was scared and alone, just as she had been before she met him. "Maya," Fitzwilliam said, his voice filled with tenderness. "Why did you leave? I was so worried." She looked at him, her eyes brimming with tears. "I heard what they said," she whispered. "About you, about me. They don't want me there." I'm causing you trouble. Fitzwilliam gently cupped her face in his hands. That's not true, Maya, he said firmly. I want you to stay. I don't care what anyone else thinks. You are not causing me trouble. You bring joy to my life. The garden is brighter because of you. I want you here with me. Do you understand? He looked deep into her eyes, hoping she would believe him. He needed her to understand that her worth wasn't determined by the opinions of others. Tears streamed down Maya's face, but this time, they were tears of relief. She looked at Fitzwilliam, truly seeing the love and sincerity in his eyes. She finally understood that he wasn't like her relatives, that he didn't see her as a burden. He saw her as a person, someone worthy of love and care. Really? She whispered, her voice trembling. You really want me? Fitzwilliam smiled, his eyes twinkling. More than anything, Maya, he said. You're not a burden. You're a joy. You make me laugh, you make me think. And you make the best darn vegetable soup I've ever tasted. He pulled her into a warm embrace. Now come on, he said. Let's go home. This time Maya didn't hesitate. She wrapped her arms around him and held on tight, finally feeling safe and loved. Back at the house, Fitzwilliam knew he couldn't leave things as they were. He couldn't simply ignore the neighbors' concerns and hope they would go away. He needed to make things official to ensure Maya's safety and well-being. He contacted a kind lawyer in town, Mrs. Peterson, who offered to help him navigate the complex legal process of becoming Maya's guardian. It wasn't easy. There were forms to fill out, interviews to attend, and background checks to undergo. But Fitzwilliam persevered, driven by his love for Maya and his determination to provide her with a stable and secure future. He knew it would be a long and challenging road, but he was ready to face whatever obstacles came his way, as long as he could keep Maya safe and happy. Finally, after months of paperwork and legal proceedings, the day arrived when Fitzwilliam officially became Maya's guardian. The judge, a kind woman with a warm smile, looked at Maya and said, "You're a very lucky girl, Maya. Mr. Fitzwilliam is a very special person." Maya beamed, her eyes shining with happiness. She ran to Fitzwilliam and hugged him tightly, whispering, "Thank you, Grandpa." Fitzwilliam's heart swelled with love. He knew that this was just the beginning of their journey together, but he was confident that they could overcome any challenges as long as they had each other. He looked at Maya and smiled, knowing that he had given her a home, but she had given him so much more. He had given her a family, and she had given him a reason to live. With a stable home and a loving guardian, Maya blossomed. She thrived in school, her natural intelligence shining through. She devoured books, aced tests, and made friends easily. She joined the school garden club and quickly became its star member, sharing her knowledge and passion for plants with her classmates. And of course, she continued to help Fitzwilliam in his garden, her skills growing with each passing season. Together, they cultivated a paradise of flowers, vegetables, and herbs, a testament to their shared love for nature and their unbreakable bond. The garden became a symbol of their resilience, a place where they could always find peace and solace. Maya was finally living the life she had always deserved. Slowly but surely, the community of Willow Creek began to change its tune. They saw the positive impact Maya had on Fitzwilliam's life. He was more energetic, more engaged, and more joyful than they had seen him in years. They witnessed Maya's kindness and intelligence firsthand, as she volunteered at the local soup kitchen and tutored younger students. They saw the love and respect that Fitzwilliam and Maya shared, a bond that transcended age and circumstance. Even Mrs. Higgins eventually softened her stance, admitting that she had misjudged the situation. The whispers faded away, replaced by smiles and friendly greetings. Willow Creek, once divided by suspicion and judgment, began to heal, embracing Maya as one of their own. They learned that sometimes the greatest acts of kindness come from the most unexpected places. Years flew by, like dandelion seeds carried on the wind. Maya grew into a beautiful young woman, her eyes still holding a hint of the fear she had once known, but now also shining with confidence and joy. She never forgot the kindness Fitzwilliam had shown her, the love and support that had transformed her life. She cherished every moment they spent together, working in the garden, sharing stories, and simply enjoying each other's company. She knew that she owed him everything, that without him, she would still be that scared little girl digging for scraps behind a fence. She made sure to express her gratitude every day, showering him with love and affection, repaying his kindness in every way she could. He was her grandpa, her mentor, and her best friend. Inspired by Fitzwilliam's generosity and her own love for plants, Maya decided to start her own small business. She called it Maya's Magical Gardens, and she offered her services to help others create beautiful and thriving gardens of their own. She used her knowledge of plants, her artistic flair, and her genuine passion to transform ordinary yards into extraordinary havens. She helped families grow their own vegetables, create colorful flower beds, and attract butterflies and birds. Her business thrived, and she became a respected member of the community, known for her talent, her kindness, and her unwavering commitment to helping others. She was finally able to give back to the town that had once judged her, proving that everyone deserves a second chance. Fitzwilliam watched Maya's success with immense pride. He saw the joy she brought to others, the beauty she created, and the positive impact she had on the community. He knew that he had made the right decision, that opening his heart and home to her was the best thing he had ever done. He often sat on the porch, watching her tend to the garden, a contented smile on his face. He marveled at how far she had come, from that scared little girl digging for scraps to the confident and accomplished young woman she had become. He was grateful for her presence in his life, for the love and laughter she brought to their home. Together, they had created a haven, a place where they both belonged, a testament to the power of kindness and second chances. The story of Fitzwilliam and Maya is a testament to the transformative power of kindness. It demonstrates that even the smallest act of compassion can have a profound impact on someone's life, offering hope where there was once only despair. It highlights the importance of acceptance, of looking beyond outward appearances and judging people based on their character rather than their circumstances. And it emphasizes the value of second chances, of giving people the opportunity to overcome their past and build a brighter future. It shows that even in the face of adversity, love and compassion can triumph, creating bonds that are stronger than any obstacle. One simple question, "Do you want to stay?" changed everything. Years later, Maya, now a successful businesswoman and a respected member of the community, stood by Fitzwilliam's grave. The garden surrounded the small plot, a vibrant tapestry of colors and scents, a living tribute to his love for nature. She gently placed a bouquet of freshly picked roses on the headstone, her eyes filled with tears of gratitude and love. She whispered, "Thank you, Grandpa, for everything." She remembered that simple question he had asked her so many years ago, the question that had changed her life forever. "Do you want to stay?" And she knew with absolute certainty that staying had been the best decision she had ever made. She turned and walked towards the garden, her heart filled with a bittersweet mixture of sadness and joy. She would continue to care for the garden, to nurture the plants, and to honor his memory, always remembering the kindness that had bloomed in their shared haven.